Hey all, Geek Girl Fighter here, back, new and improved. So let's talk about Game of Thrones, okay? Well, I don't really have enough time to go into depth about it. I could be really critical and probably talk about this for at least a half hour. But let me just say this. The show was better than I expected, but less than what I had hoped for. The casting was impeccable. My favorite actors were Jaime, Tyrion, and the Hound. Each one of these actors really understands the intricacies and complicated depth of their characters. The Hound especially, you can look into that man's eyes on the screen and feel the dilemma that he has as he racks his brain on the orders that he was given against his own morality and principles, and that just makes me feel good inside. My least favorite aspect of the show is the gratuitous sex and nudity. I'm not against nudity itself. You know, the Dany scene at the end of the finale last night was fine. I mean, whose dress is going to survive a fucking pyre that's burning people? But the addition of the prostitute Roz, who basically acts as a sex show as the producer's info dumpy with plot points, really aggravates me. I'm sorry, you think we're not intelligent enough to enjoy the show and learn about the story without seeing two girls fingering each other? I'm a little bit insulted, and I don't think I'm the only female who feels that way, HBO. The scenes that they deleted or added, I was not too worried about. I liked seeing Pedofinger duke it out with Varys, Robert, tell Cersei how much he hated her, etc. It's a viewpoint that we didn't get to read, and it ends up being kind of fun to see on the screen. My biggest beef with the scenes are that there were no fucking direwolves. OMG! I mean, the past two episodes have been a little bit better, but seriously, Stark, direwolf, Stark, direwolf. There's no distinction between the two. Wherever Robb is, Grey Wind is. Wherever Jon is, Ghost is. Shaggy Dog, Summer. I don't even think we've heard Summer's name. What the hell? But if the dogs were a problem to film with, why didn't you just CG them like the dragons? The dragons look really badass. And you know what? Dire wolves are huge. They're bigger than other wolves. I would have let you CG them and believed that they were dire wolves. The best episode was the one George R.R. Martin wrote, for reals. I'm excited that he's writing the Blackwater episode for the next season as well. It just has to be that way. He knows the story the best, including which scenes should be in the show as they pertain to important events down the road. I don't think the screenplay writers, all of them, have read the entire series, so they may not necessarily catch on to all the foreshadowing. Well, and especially because, the series hasn't finished, so George knows what's happening. But the scene with Bran and Osha in the Werewoods, that was important, and George put it in the episode, but I feel like any other screenplay writer would have just cut that. The production is amazing. I cannot find flaws in the sets, the costumes, the armor, the cinematography. It's just outstanding. You could tell how much they researched things so meticulously and then added their own creative flair and spin onto it because it is a fantastical world. As a visual artist, it pretty much was a mindgasm. My eyes were just overflowing with a wealth of beautiful information. The music, however, I found is pretty lacking. Aside from the opening credit theme, I don't think the score really adds to the mood at all. It doesn't really enhance it. It doesn't swell. It doesn't exacerbate like any sadness or anger that I might have. So it's sad that the score is pretty forgettable compared to the rest of the series. Overall, I enjoyed it. It helps that it's based off of one of my obsessions, so I'm pretty much automatically defaulted to like it anyway. Based on other television shows that I like, though, I'm going to rate this at about an 8.4 out of 10. I think the second season is going to be so much more amazing because now that they have this viewer base, they can do a lot more risky adventures with the show. they did kill off the main character, which is usually a big no-no in TV, so I'm hoping that they'll be able to take the next step and the next plunge as we go into Clash of Kings. In other news, Dance with Dragons in 3.5 weeks. Yay! I'm also driving to one of the book signing events that George R.R. Martin's going to be at, so he can personalize it and have him say, "Here the fuck it is. I'm sorry it took me this long." 2 hours. And guess who officially has a room at the main Marriott at DragonCon? This chick. I'm going to be completing my costume for the Blood Rider, Dany Targaryen. So hopefully people will be able to recognize me as Dany, but then realize that, my costume is from the forthcoming aspects. I'm also going to do Kratos from God of War. I'm doing just a gender-swapped version. I'm not doing like a crossplay. I'm not going to shave my head and, show my boobs. Sorry. I know it's DragonCon. Yeah, I could probably get away with it, but I'm not gonna. So those are my upcoming things, and you should check back for updates on my costume creation as DragonCon nears. And I decided that I'm going to end all my videos for at least a little while with readings from Jon and Dany chapters in A Clash of Kings. So this is the first Jon chapter, and it's the very end. And I'm going to try and avoid spoilers. So, Jon drew himself up, taut as a bowstring. "And if it did trouble me, what might I do, bastard as I am?" "What will you do?" Mormont asked, "bastard as you are." "Be troubled," said Jon, "and keep my vows."